What's up guys, Shane Stars here. I finally have my iPhone 14 Pro Max and there's plenty to enjoy about this phone. So of course, I love the design. This is an exquisite, high-end looking phone. I'm actually kind of enjoying this dynamic island, as odd as that sounds. And this definitely has a better camera with that 48 megapixel main shooter. I'm getting some incredible shots out of the phone. And I'm also really loving the upgraded display with that 2000 nits of peak brightness. That's just an insane amount of brightness. I'm able to see this thing outdoors no matter how bright the sun is, and I'm really loving that. All that being said, there are some really big issues and problems that Apple needs to fix quickly with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. We're going to cover some of those in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. This video is sponsored by Humixx. The Humixx 5-in-1 clear and translucent cases are the perfect protection for your brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max. I just love the design of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Why would you want to cover it up with a case? I love the fact that these cases are clear or transparent, meaning you can really show off the design of this phone. This case comes with 2 screen protectors and 2 lens protectors, meaning you're gonna get 360 degrees of full protection. You'll get military standard drop protection with the unique multi-U anti-drop technology. The 4 corners are designed to imitate a car airbag, which should fully protect your phone in case of a drop. One of the main issues with a clear case is that over time they yellow. You don't have to worry about that with the Humixx clear and translucent cases, as they feature 20 by anti-yellowing thanks to an anti-oxidation coating. If you're not into clear, they also have this really awesome translucent black case. This is also super thin and light and provides the same drop protection to your new iPhone 14 Pro Max. With everything this case includes at the price point, I just don't think you're gonna be able to beat the Humixx clear and translucent case. I'll be sure to include links in the description of where you can pick up these cases for yourself today. First and foremost has to be this Esim fiasco. So for many of you out there, you're like, what? It was no issue for me, and for a lot of you, it only took a minute or two to get your phone number transferred from a physical SIM to an eSIM, and the process was a breeze. For a lot of you out there, the eSIM process has been an absolute disaster. I've been seeing people who have posted that they've lost their phone number for more than a day. They've had to switch carriers, and this should have been kind of ironed out ahead of time. This kind of feels like a, you're holding it wrong moment. And, I'm glad that Apple is courageous enough to push the industry forward with things like eSIM. I know that there's a lot of e-waste with SIM cards and things like that, but it just seems like they would have ironed this out a little bit better for those of us in the US. I personally would have preferred to see a traditional SIM card tray in this phone for this year until they could get the eSIM ironed out a little bit more. I don't think that Apple users should have to lose their phone for more than a day or be forced to switch carriers just to make their brand new phone work. I kind of feel like that is a major issue. I'm glad that Apple finally brought us an always-on display, but to me, it just kind of feels a little bit half-baked. So really, it's more like an always dim display, and it's distracting as can be. So if you got it sitting on your desk, it kind of just looks like you forgot to turn the screen off on your phone. Other devices out there like my Galaxy S22 Ultra and several other Android devices that utilize an always-on display just give you the bare minimum information, and then they just totally darken your screen. This saves battery life. Usually I'm only using 1 to 3% battery on those other phones, whereas the always-on display tends to bring down the battery life much quicker on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This is just another one of those things that I think Apple needs to kind of tweak and get better. I don't think it's the best that it could be right now. Earlier I said that I'm enjoying the dynamic island, and that is true. I like the animations. I think that that part of the dynamic island really stands out and is great. However, I kind of think this is just another one of those band-aids that Apple's putting on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. The dynamic island essentially just replaces the notch. It does make it look a little bit more refined. The dynamic island, however, does take up more vertical screen real estate. It comes further down in the display, which means you're gonna get less content on your phone. It can get in the way of watching movies and other videos and things like that. And really, it's only useful when you're using it. So it's not totally integrated, so you're not gonna get all of your notifications there. And if you were to get your notifications there, it would kind of be a struggle, because if you're using your phone one-handed, you gotta reach all all the way to the top. And so I'm not really sure that the dynamic island is as good as it can be. Of course, this is the first time we've seen it. It's going to get better over time. But I think it does have a lot of room for improvement. Battery life on the iPhone 14 Pro Max can be a bit of a sore point. A lot of you out there are only getting up to 3 hours of screen on time, and you're not even able to get a full day's use out of your 14 Pro Max. Now, I've had limited experience with this phone. I've only had it since Friday. For me, it's been okay. That being said, we're used to iPhones having the best battery life on the market. This could be an issue with the always on display draining extra battery, although we're getting varied reports on that as well. This could also be that increased brightness. So if you do use the full 2000 nits of brightness, if you crank up the brightness on this phone at all, battery tends to drain very quickly. So the only fix for that would be to use your phone at a lower brightness for most of the day, whether you're inside or outside, instead of having that adaptive auto brightness turned on. And I know a lot of people are making the excuse, this is just iOS 16. iOS 16 is known to drain the battery on the iPhone. Well, that's not really a great excuse, because the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max launched with iOS 16. We can't revert back to a previous version. So Apple really needs to hammer this down and improve battery life on these new iPhones. With the less than stellar battery performance on the 14 Pro Max, it would have been nice to see a major jump in battery charging speeds. Right now we get 15 watts of wireless charging only when you use MagSafe. So any other Qi charging device that you may use to charge your phone wirelessly only gets 7.5 watts, which is super slow. You can get the 25 watts fast charging when you plug in the device, but all these other phones that I have been using have much faster charge speeds. So there's faster charging on the market that doesn't damage or destroy your phone. It would be nice to see Apple implement some of these faster charging techniques, but the next issue that we're going to talk about is one of the main reasons why we're not seeing faster charging on this phone. For whatever reason, Apple refuses to upgrade the iPhone lineup to USB Type-C or USB 3.0, and they stick with the proprietary Lightning port. Now, there's plenty of good reasons for this. They don't want to make the other accessories obsolete, so I kind of understand that, but we're suffering with charge speeds, we're suffering with transfer rates, and it's actually more than likely that Apple will just not go to USB Type-C and they'll ditch the port altogether, going with a truly wireless phone now that they have wireless charging. That being said, now that we have these 48 megapixel raw image files that can be 75 megabytes each or higher, we've got 4K video recording, all kinds of reasons why we would need faster transfer rates. We're not going to get that with USB Type-C, and Apple's answer to that is just increase your iCloud storage and transfer your files wireless. While we do have an improvement with the cameras and we're getting incredible shots, there is an issue still with lens flare on the 14 Pro Max. I saw it all the time on the 13 Pro Max, and it's back with a vengeance on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't really understand why these lenses always have lens flare, but it is something that you're going to have to deal with on this phone. As you can see, there are a lot of ways that Apple could improve this phone. Most of these will come in software upgrades, but there may be a few that you just have to live with, like the lens flare, like the Lightning port, and things like that. But overall, this is still a great phone, definitely worth the buy. And that about wraps it up for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure that you are subscribed and that you do like the video for more videos like this in the future. Thanks guys for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.